Bonjour, everyone. Hi, peeps. This is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to the daily live stream here at Star Nations Organization's main fan page. And we have a spiritual conversation around the card draw that I do every morning and that I post on our Instagram business account. And so I bring it to the Facebook live stream from our main fan page so that we can have an insight and share the information and help each other understand the essence of the daily cards, right? So welcome. I appreciate those that are with me for this afternoon, Sunday afternoon, November 18th. It's already the 18th of November. Thanksgiving for those who enjoy celebrating that holiday. It's just like right around the corner, right? Yeah. It's cold and sunny here in Tomah, Wisconsin, northwestern part of the state. When you look outside, it looks gorgeous out because the sun's out, and what little snow we have, we don't have much. It's kind of glistening, sparkly. But as soon as you step out the door, you know it's winter because this morning when I got up, it was 7 degrees above zero, 7. And our high was supposed to be 29 degrees. Yeah. Yep. So hence the fleece, dressing in layers. So before we get rolling with the card information, I am going to share and like the live stream. And I would appreciate it if you would do the same. Whether you share it to your your own news feed, to your wall, or just to a friend. The important thing is that that we actually do the share, and so that others can find us easier, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna send it over to my news feed first. And I do this every day. And since I do, I have all these cool quick keys. I still have to get the good punctuation though in. And then just asking them to please join me. And there's one done. I'll get that posted. Hey, Rochelle, good to see you in the chat. She says, made it. Did my grocery shopping, then we'll pack, ready for the UP. Last hurrah before my shoulder surgery. Well, good for you. Good for you. It's going to be a nice trip. Going to the UP in November. You're a brave soul, woman. You're a brave soul. It's going to be really cold up there. And you're going across the Mac Bridge. When does it close? It doesn't close in the winter though, does it? I mean, it closes once in a while because of the weather, but isn't it open like year round? And I'm finishing up sharing. There we go. And make sure we get it to the right close groups here. There. That's good. There you go. Hey, Stephanie. Welcome to the live stream. Always good to see you in the chat. Yeah. Just fixing my pockets because I have my gloves. They're thin. They're just these things, right? Being outside doesn't warrant the really heavy gloves or mittens or anything like that, because really I'm just going from one garage to another. So it's not, but it's still cold. The steering wheel is still cold. But yeah, I don't have to get really completely bundled up. I do when I take George out. That's for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Rochelle is saying it's an adventure. Yes, it's open 24/7. Yeah. Yeah. I do know that it closes like on really, really windy days and really icy, snowy days. I do know that, only because I've seen the posts, and I've been on the Mac maybe 4 times, round trips from here driving northern Wisconsin, UP, which by the way, I always say this when I talk about it, is that it should have been part of Wisconsin. Go through the UP, cross the MAC to get to the mitten, right? The mitten state. Yeah. Yeah. But the first time I was on the Mac, I have to say, I was a little edgy, saying prayers just before we started the approach to the bridge, praying all the way up until we got to the crest, and then it was like, okay, But it's beautiful up there, that high up, and seeing so much of Lake Michigan. Um, yeah, it's gorgeous up there. Yeah, you can't be afraid of heights, that's for sure. That's for sure. Okay, so the cards that we got today, we have had before, and actually, I think in this combination as well, except that their positions are kind of changed, right? And the first card I'm going to show you, we've had many times. He shows up at least once or twice a week. Yeah. And I say he, but he's genderless. Earth Guardian. Stay rooted and grounded. Stay rooted and grounded. Yeah. And so when this card jumped out of the deck this morning when I was shuffling, and it landed face up, I'm looking at it and I said, really? What are we going to talk about today about the essence of this card? Because we have discussed this card several times. So we'll see what you guys think once we get rolling here. Hey, Julie Shumway Hill is with us. Welcome to the live stream, Julie. It's always good to see you in chat. And Rochelle said, hunting for Lake Superior agate. Oh. And so do you find those just on the shoreline? Where do you find the agate at in Lake Superior? Or near Lake Superior, I should say. Because the MAC actually joins, of course, the UP and the Mitten part of Michigan, right? But that is exactly where Lake Michigan and Lake Superior also meet. And yeah, that's an area that is, in the old days, Potawatomi actually would canoe that up and around, right? Up and around. Yeah. Interesting. The last time I was up there, and coming back to Wisconsin, it was fall, early, the leaves were changing, and this was maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And I remember coming and looking over at the waters, on both sides, right? And looking at all the color, and the color blue, and the different shades of blue for each of the lakes, and the shades of brown and gold. And it was so pretty seeing all that color. And I realized why my ancestors, especially the Potawatomi, why when we do our beadwork, the colors that we select with that is that really we are using the colors from Grandmother Earth, and so the selection to make the beadwork, because our beadwork are floral designs, lots of vines and flowers and leaves and that sort of thing, right? You don't see a whole lot of geometric designs in our beadwork. The geometric designs are more west of the Mississippi, and I can understand why, really, because east of the Mississippi we have all the trees, and it's just our terrain, our geography is just different looking than out on the Great Plains, right? And yeah, so it makes a difference. It does. Maybe what I'll do, if I can, let's see, I think I have some pictures of my mom's beadwork that I can share. But I know that we can find some pictures maybe out at the Smithsonian, or some copyright-free pictures of woodland beadwork, and I can show you guys the contrast between the two different styles, right? Either way, beadwork, those who do the beadwork, I tell you, there's some special people. It takes patience. It takes a lot of patience, a lot of skill. Yeah. And hey, Mary Summers is with us too. Hi, Mary. Julie says, just finished some prep for my granddaughter's 13th birthday dinner. Oh my goodness. A tweener is becoming a teenager. Well, I wish you guys a happy birthday party, right? Celebrating her. Yeah. Rochelle says, on the shore of Lake Superior, the bridge connects the UP to the lower Michigan, does not connect to the Thumb area. I see. Yep, that's true. It's true. You know, I was flying from Wisconsin to Michigan. This was years ago when I first started doing drum making workshops over in Michigan. And it's not a very long flight. And I was thinking about the two states, you know, and I was thinking Michigan, Wisconsin, you know, and here, you know, the W in sign language, right? Right. And then the sign language for but I was thinking W, and then if you do it upside down, M, you know, how did we do that, right? They're separated by the largest freshwater lake in the world. It's like an ocean, right? And I was thinking about all the things about Wisconsin and Michigan. And honestly, I think Wisconsin energy has more masculine energy than Michigan. Michigan has much more feminine energy. So we have the yin and the yang, right? Separated by the lake. And there was something else about that, about Michigan and Wisconsin that I was thinking about. Anyway, that was on that flight, all these little insights, you know, and for a while there, I was telling Paul we should get a cabin or, you know, a second place, a small place over in Michigan, because I was spending so much time there. I was driving back and forth like at least twice a month, and and so yeah. Where would we have a cabin in Michigan that would be close enough to Grand Rapids and between Grand Rapids and Lansing or something like that. Anyway, that was a thought a long time ago. Yeah. Hey, Donnie Fulton. Hello. Welcome to the live stream. And Rochelle said, would love to live on Superior. Yeah. You have to really like winter. Yeah. You really have to like winter to live up in Superior. On Superior, I should say. All right. Let's talk a little bit about that first card, Earth Guardian. You know, and we have seen this card many, many times, and definitely green is the primary color used on this card. Yeah, I don't know if it's an emerald or what he has at his third eye, his ajna, but even the feathers are green. So, you know, it's very, green is always a symbol. It's always a metaphor, if you will, for Grandmother Earth, right? For the earth. And so it's staying rooted and grounded. Staying rooted and grounded. And we were talking about that last, I think Thursday or Friday, because we had the same card, and we were talking about being grounded and what it feels like compared to what it feels like when you're not grounded, right? And to really take notice of it. Just to notice it. You don't necessarily have to do anything about it unless you want to. But just noticing it. What do you feel like when you are grounded and you're consciously aware of it, right? What does it feel like in your bodies, in your physical body, in your emotional body, in your mental body, and your spiritual body? What does it feel like? Because when you are experiencing an event in your life, and you tune into the energy that you're feeling and how you're feeling, and you notice that, I feel different. I'm not grounded. I'm not grounded. And if you can, here's another thing that you can do when you realize, oh, I'm ungrounded, is really start. You can either start at your feet or start at your head. Doesn't make any difference. Is just to check in. It's like, what does it feel like above my head? What does it feel like at my third eye? What does it feel like at my throat chakra to be ungrounded? And just notice what it feels like in your different chakras, right? And why do that? Why do that? Because you can tell at which chakra does the ungrounding begin. Yeah. Yeah. So it's an insight, really. It's an insight. So you get to learn about yourself. You get to learn about yourself that when you are in an event and something's going on, right, in your life, and it could be kind of chaotic, or it could be one of those confrontations. It could be a fearful moment or a moment of worry, and you check in and notice which chakras get affected when you're afraid. Which chakras get affected when you're in a confrontation with someone else, and it could be just a minor, verbal exchange, but just notice it, because you're learning a lot about yourself at that point. Yeah. And I know when you're right in the midst of it, usually we don't remember to do that. But if you can just take a moment and just scan it, right? In the moment, there's really nothing to do but to notice it. And once you get through that and you realize what does that mean for you, then you know that when you do your grounding, what areas are you focused on, when you do your grounding. Yeah. Yep. Donnie Fulton says, I'm between Grand Rapids and Traverse City. Okay. Because I've never been to Traverse City, and I heard that I've been told that it's gorgeous up there, and it's kind of touristy, is what I was told. And I grew up in a tourist town. I grew up in Wisconsin Dells. Went to school there and spent my first 18 years in Wisconsin Dells, and so I'm used to the touristy thing. I am. Rochelle says, I don't like being cold. Well, yeah. If you're going to live on Lake Superior year round, your summers are very short. Your summers are very short, because it's that when that wind comes off that lake, holy smokes, it's cold. It is cold, and yeah. Yep, I've only been up there once in late fall. Right, I think it was in November, when I used to work for the University of Eau Claire. We had gone literally that 1 month. In less than 7 days, we went from southern Wisconsin to the very northern part of Wisconsin, and that's the first time I felt jet lag in my own state. We did a lot of driving. Honey says, sounds right. Yeah. Yep, it does. And I don't mind the touristy thing because I grew up with it. There's certain things, energies about a tourist area that you don't find other places. Silly things like if you want to just take a break and you want to go and, let's say, have a glass of wine or an iced tea or something, and you want to sit outside in a restaurant, you want to sit on a lakeside, places like around where I live now, there's no place like that. None. It's not a tourist area. But if I go to Wisconsin Dells, there's going to be at least a half dozen or more places that have that available. So there is a big difference, and there's a big difference in energy too. That's for sure. All right, let's find out what's about that Earth Guardian. For those that haven't heard about the Earth Guardian yet, and those of us that have heard the information before, how it kind of affects you, right? What part of it is meant for you? And so the message is, take time to connect deeply with the energy of the earth so that you can feel supported and make decisions based on strength and integrity. So we know that when we're grounded, we're calmer. We're calmer. And when you're calmer, you're in a space, a vibration that it's easier to make good decisions. And you can feel the energies of those decisions or those elements that you have to decide on, right? Yeah. And when you're grounded, you're able to bring in spiritual information, spirit information that is relevant to what you're deciding on, right? And so it is a good way to be able to know that you're going to be making the best decision that you can given the information that you have. Julie's saying, getting tired of the touristy thing in my Greenwich. Julie's still living in Wisconsin Dells. Yeah. I can understand why. The energy in a touristy place, I think, just my 2 cents now, okay, is kind of frenetic. It kind of reminds me of Ricochet Rabbit. It's bouncing all over the place. And there's a certain group energy that goes along with it too. Yeah, it's very interesting. Maybe I should write a blog, or I've never written about that, Julie. I've never written about my feelings or my insight to the different energies when you live in a touristy place. And the geography does make a difference. Grandmother Earth and what she's like in that area, in that geography, does make a difference. Being a river town makes a big difference when you have that much energy, and especially the Wisconsin River flowing right through town. Yeah, it does make a difference. And all that sandstone, right? Because the sandstone does have quartz in it. And in Wisconsin, we have a very unique quartzite, and used a lot for communication, actually. So, yeah, it's very interesting. We should actually have a good discussion about that sometime, Julie. The energetics of the Wisconsin Dells area. Yeah. That would be an interesting conversation. All right. So the Earth Guardian, for those who just showed up, this is the card that was drawn first. And the intention for the card draw every day is, what is the energy that's most important for us to know about for our highest good and the highest good of all, and that we can share with others, right? All right. So this is the first card that came, Earth Guardian. And so it says that the Earth Guardian represents the angels of Earth, who bring the medicine of feeling grounded and strong. They are the protectors of the land and the planet and can help you connect with your mission and how you can support the evolution of the planet. It says that it's important for you to take a grounded approach to your current situation. If you're rushing ahead or making a decision based on your more fearful responses, you will miss out on the growth you deserve. Take some time to calm down and get grounded before proceeding further. Then consider what to do. It's important to plant seeds that are going to grow into something beautiful rather than turning into a weed that you will have to deal with later. That last line always makes me laugh. Julie's agreeing, yes. Hey, and Julie Hedges just joined us. Hi, Julie Hedges. You had a busy weekend, lady. Oh my goodness. And thank you for all of the short live streams that you did. Julie was, it looked like you were at some sort of spiritual expo. I'm not sure exactly what it was called. But she was there with her partner that they do, business partner that they make jewelry, and, with crystals and stones and that sort of thing. Of course, I tuned into the one that was about dogs. the jewelry that you have with dog pendants and that sort of thing. So thanks for sharing those with us. Um, they're fun. They're really fun. So when I was thinking about what Kyle Gray, the author of the cards, had written about Earth Guardian, and I was thinking, okay, Earth Guardian, you've shown up many, many times in our drawings since we started using this deck. What's that about? Why do you keep popping up? And the reply I heard was that because we are on the earth plane, because we're here having this experience on the earth plane, that many of us are remembering about being grounded, but there's many more that either don't turn their attention to it or they're completely unaware of it. And also when we're going through an emotional occurrence or event, we forget. We forget to reground. We forget that Grandmother Earth is here to support us in everything. And so if we need help, we need to turn to her. We need to ask her for help. I have a friend down near Poinette, and she recently just sold her place. I used to take our old dog Ginger out to her place, and we'd walk up to the outcroppings, and there was a remnant prairie at the top of one of these outcroppings. But anyway, she was telling me once, her name was Megan. Is Megan? She's still alive. She just doesn't live in that house anymore. She said that one time she was really, really sick, and it was in the middle of winter, really, really sick. And everything that she was trying just wasn't working, and had been to the doctor and everything, right? And so she said, I literally crawled out of bed and put on the warmest clothes I could find and slipped on her boots, and she went outside and walked. It's the headwaters. Her place had the headwaters of the Rowan Creek. And so she made her way to the headwaters, and she goes, and I couldn't go any further. She goes, I was just so weak. And she says, I literally laid on the ground in the mud. and she goes, I was just talking to Grandmother Earth, to Mother Earth, and just telling her how poorly I felt and what was wrong, and everything that I'd tried and it wasn't working. So she was turning to Grandmother Earth, and she says, I need help. I need help feeling better. And she goes, I can't even tell you how long I was out there. She said, I realized I opened my eyes, and the sun was in a different place. And she says, I pulled myself up to a sitting position and made my way to just stand up. And she said, I started walking back to the house, and she goes, I felt different. Not 100% better, not even 50% better, but she felt different. And she made her way back to the house, and she said, I crawled back into bed, and she goes, I fell asleep. She goes, she slept for like 10 hours. And when she woke up, she goes, whatever was going through her body was gone. But that is pretty drastic to have to get yourself bundled up and go out there. But she had nowhere else to turn, she said. And so she turned to the earth and asked for help. Jules is here. Hi, Jules. Oh, it's good to see you in the chat. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here. And Rochelle says, Donnie, I live in Reed City. Did Donnie ask that? And Julie Hedges says, glad to be here. Yeah. Okay. So, as I was contemplating this card this morning and shuffling again, just so I could get more information about what is it that the Earth Guardian really wants us to know about, right? Because we've gotten this card many times. And as I was shuffling, I could hear the Earth Guardian talking to me, and he was saying, she, because he's genderless, was saying that he wants us to know about being grounded even during times when there is energies on Earth, like what we're experiencing right now, and that is Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde. He said those of us that remember to do our grounding and our centering, our balancing, we make it through those cosmic events more gracefully. That we're not affected as much as if we were ungrounded. Ungrounded. And so that was one of the things that he wanted us to know about, is that being grounded is good always, always, because it gets us through all kinds of things that we're meant to experience. It doesn't take things away. It just makes the experience more enjoyable, sometimes even more comfortable if we're grounded to Grandmother Earth. Because when we're grounded, we're calmer, we're stronger, right? In so many ways. And so that's what he wants us to know about. And since we're just starting this retrograde, Julie Hedges, when does the retrograde end? The Mercury retrograde. When does that end? I know it's a couple weeks, but I was wondering about the date. So here's a question for those in the chat. One, do you experience the effects of the Mercury retrograde? And if so, is it positive or is it negative, generally speaking? Okay. And the second question is, do you consciously do a grounding technique, whatever that is that you use, to ground yourself to Grandmother Earth during the Mercury retrograde? That's the question. Donnie says, my wife works at the Red Fox Market in Big Rapids. Have you been there? I think he's asking Rochelle that. Because I have not been. I've been to Big Rapids on a couple occasions, but I think that question is for Rochelle. So I'll give you, we have about a 5-second delay, so I'll let you do your responding to those two questions. Because I think it's important that we at least acknowledge that Mercury retrograde can be less invasive, I'll put it that way, and actually more beneficial if we are grounded. And remember, depending on what grounding technique that you use, it's just like the protection one. It lasts about 12 hours, right? And so you have to repeat. What is that? It's like shampoo, right? Is like when you lather it up, rinse and repeat. Something like that. And so it's something that can really, really help us. Because Mercury retrograde really is a gift. A lot of times in the way we talk about it as a group, we, generally speaking, we most often talk about the ill effects, the negative effects of Mercury retrograde. Well, Rochelle and Donnie, I'm so glad you found each other. Now you can be friends because you guys sounds like you live in the same area, because Rochelle does go to the Red Fox grocery store a lot. That's good. And Jewel says, I'm not aware of it consciously. Okay. Which is a good thing to note, because now you have the ability to be conscious of it, right? And to get into the habit, the lifestyle of grounding to Grandmother Earth, and however you want to do that. Because looking at the people in the live chat, I know that you all have probably been to at least one class or have listened to a show or a video talking about grounding to Grandmother Earth. And if you don't have a method or a technique, let me know in the chat, and we'll do one before the end of the live stream. Okay. Yeah. And so that is the conversation that I had with the Earth Guardian this morning. And my team was also very, how do I want to say this, instructive on the importance of it, because it can make your life quite different when you're grounded, when you're balanced, when you're clear. And if you do that every morning and every night, and if you're doing that anyway, then you should add in your protection, right? Yeah, since you're doing it anyway. And is to add that layer, that next piece, which is the protection. And so that you consciously are prepared for whatever experience you're meant to have that day. Whether you label them positive or whether you label them negative. When you walk into the event or the situation, in your mind, you're grounded, protected, centered, and balanced, and that you have a direct connection to your spiritual team. Your self-confidence goes way up. It goes way up, even though sometimes whatever is occurring seems like it's negative, and you're thinking, I thought I did my protection thing and I'm grounded. Why am I experiencing it this way? Well, depending on what it is, that just means that you're ready for it in all different ways. It's time. It's in divine timing. Yeah. So if we look at Mercury retrograde and from a more positive aspect, right? Which leads me to the second card. The second card is autumn. Release the old and rest. Release the old and rest. With the raven and the quarter moon up there. Yeah. Yeah. Release the old and rest. The message is release all of the pressures and expectations weighing you down. Shed it all so that you can recover before moving into a time of renewal. It says autumn is when the trees are preparing for the long cold winter and must let go of all the weight that they carry in order to continue to grow and prosper. Sometimes you too just have to surrender an aspect of yourself in order to continue to grow and prosper. And so we're in a time, an energy of the Mercury retrograde, right? And so releasing something that's no longer serving you is a good time, but it's also a good time to reevaluate. It's a good time to renew. And as Julie Hedges says, it's those RE words, right? Redo, renew, reevaluate, readjust. So tapping into the energy, the natural energy of a Mercury retrograde is a positive way we're going to take advantage of that energy. Yeah. Julie Shumway Hill says, I do not have a regular grounding technique. I try to get out in bare feet to connect to the earth when weather permits, but nothing regular. Okay. That's good to know. And Donnie says she's helping. Oh, he's talking about his wife. He says that she's helping with a vibrational healing class there today. You may have met her before. So see, I like it. I love it. This is our community right here at Star Nations. And so Donnie and Rochelle live in the same area. Sounds like that they have something in common about spirituality and energy. And Yeah, I love it. And look, you guys are having this conversation right here. I love it. I do. All right. So we were talking about tapping in to the natural energy of the Mercury retrograde in a positive way rather than tapping into the mass consciousness of the Mercury retrograde that takes it in as I'm going to call it a more negative aspect, right? Because it's like, oh, get prepared. It's Mercury retrograde. Don't sign any contracts. Don't, communication is going to be off. And all of that is true, but we don't have to be fearful of it. We don't have to be fearful of it. It's not, when you think about it, it's no different than us two-leggeds, really. We have we have both light and dark within us, right? We have our strengths and our weaknesses. Yeah, it's no different. And if you do your healing work, even your weaknesses um, can become a positive thing. Um, and your positive traits are greatly enhanced when when you've done your healing work for yourself, right? And so I think it depends on where we place our focus, where we place our energy. Yeah. And rather being a part of the mass consciousness and the negativity of it is to use your tools and your gifts to reach in and tap into the more positive collective consciousness of it. Two different vibrations, two different frequencies of the consciousness, right? The mass consciousness, which includes everybody, even those who might be living a more low vibrational lifestyle. Okay, and the collective consciousness, it's really about spirit and the higher vibrations, right? It's about universal energy, and the universe is energy is all about love. So tapping into the more positive. Hey, Cynthia Jones is here. Good to have you in the chat, Cynthia. And oh, by the way, congratulations on your ordination. Yeah, that's very special. And Donnie is saying, I'm ignorant to the Mercury retrograde. I'm listening and learning. Oh, good. Good. Rochelle said, I wasn't aware of a vibrational healing course would have gone. Oh, see? Yeah, so now your wife, Donnie, knows that she can adjust and tweak her promotions about her work. Yeah. Julie says Mercury retrograde ends on December 6th. Thank you, Julie. And December 6th is my birthday. What a way to celebrate. Is to have Mercury go direct. And so we have that, what is that, 2-week time frame? Is that 2 weeks? I have to look at the calendar. From December 16th, I think it went. Mercury retrograde. I think it was the 16th. And so we have until December 6th. And so we have the opportunity to make a conscious decision that we're going to ground to Grandmother Earth every day, twice a day. And by the time Mercury goes direct, you're going to have a new habit, a new part of a lifestyle, right? Because you're gonna be able to notice a difference in how your life flows. And even though Mercury retrograde, that they were talking about communication of all kinds, so it's just not verbal communication, but it's also electronic communication. It's about our body language, miscommunications can happen easily and frequently. And so you want to be consciously aware of that, right? Doesn't mean that you should stop communicating. No, it just means, take your time. Is that what I really mean? And after you say it and it comes out kind of garbled or wait a minute, wait, delete that. Let me try this again and then redo it, right? And redo it. And if you're writing in the written form, is to when you compose something, whether it's an email or a text or whatever, is pause and reread it, or share it with somebody and say, I just wrote this. Let me read it to you. Does it sound clear? Did I get my point across? Or if you've actually written it, you can use things like Grammarly or is to take a break from it, write it, walk away from it, come back, sometime later, reread it and tweak it, adjust it. Yeah. So it really just means just to be able to slow down a bit. And if you're grounded, you're calmer, you're stronger. Yeah. All right. I'm watching the time because I want to do a grounding method with you guys. And so that those that don't have a grounding technique, at least you have something that you can use and see how well you like it. There's lots of them out there. So I can give you one and you can at least test it out, see how it works for you, and you can always tweak it into kind of tailor it to your own life. Mm-hmm. Okay. It says that the raven on the autumn card shows that there's an opportunity to heal at this time. In the Celtic animal medicine, the raven is the bird of healing and initiation. The healing it brings is a shift that allows you to move into a more powerful psychic space where you can be more aware of your needs and desires and be more supported. Okay? So when I read that and looked at the card and I thought, all right, we're going to talk about grounding techniques, because when we're grounded, our clairs are, whether you're clairaudient or clairvoyant or clairsentient, any of that, is that we're able to bring in information in a more easy way. Why? Because our energy is calmer. It's not erratic. It's not, we're not flighty. We're not just living from our heart chakra up. Is that we're actually grounded, which means that our lower chakras are grounded into the earth as well. Okay. And it's great to have a wide open heart and to be high heart and but when we live from here up, we're not grounded. We're not grounding all of that good stuff to the earth plane. So we have an opportunity that when you're grounding to Grandmother Earth, you're also assisting yourself in your healing work, whether primarily for yourself. But if you're a healer, then your ability to heal is also expanded, deepened. It goes on to say that what is heavy, what's holding you back. If it's a person, a situation, or a dream, like the trees letting go of their leaves and fruit in autumn, it's time to let go. When you hold on, you try to control reality, and that never works. When you let go, you make space for the new to enter your life. You're being guided by your angels and nature herself to release whatever is stopping you from moving forward. And you can do this. And so when we tap into the positive energies of Mercury retrograde, that's a great time to clean out your closets. That's a great time to declutter, right? To let go of stuff. And when we're decluttering, it's just not in the physical world. It's time to go through your electronic files It's time, if you have a website, if you have a business or you have a website, that's a good time to work on it and to tweak it or to redo something, not to add something new, but to kind of clean it up, you know? Yeah. So that's about the part of tapping into the positive aspects of the Mercury retrograde. Mhm. It's already there. All we have to do is use it. It's not like we have to make anything, and it's not even that we even have to buy anything. It's already here for us. And so all we have to do is get grounded, get clear on our intention to be able to use the natural and positive aspects of the retrograde. All right. All right. And so I just want to cover this last card, and then we're going to do the grounding, okay? And look who else who showed up again. The Knight. Be brave and honest. Be brave and honest. And he's got the chalice in the background. He's got the rose, which represents the goddess, right? Mother Mary. Yep. And the darkness in the background is a symbol of feminine energy. And in some ways, you could say he's guarding it, right? Protecting the Knight. Be brave and honest. So what does the Knight have to do with Mercury retrograde? That was my question to my spiritual team. It's like, all right, so what is this card? How does it support the information from our very first card, which was the Earth Guardian? You know, how do they work together? Right? And so with the Knight, the message is do the right thing. Even if it isn't the easiest option. Stand for what you know to be right and true. Okay. So just taking that one sentence and applying it to the Mercury retrograde, now is a good time to reconsider your beliefs. Even if you just take one, just one, and reconsider it. Does it still support you? Is it a belief that supports your soul growth? Does it support your soul contract? Does it help you grow and expand? Does it make you feel stronger, more confident? Or is it free-for-all? You know, does it make you feel smaller or to contract? Even if you just take one of them. You don't have to do all of them because we all have many, many of them. Just take one, you know, just take one and reconsider it using tapping into and taking advantage of what Mercury retrograde is naturally giving us is a time to redo, reconsider. Yeah. And you can have fun doing it. It doesn't have to be like work. You know, you can have one of your favorite beverages, whether it's tea, coffee, water, you know, even a glass of wine. All you want to do is relax and have a conversation with your spiritual team and asking them about whatever belief that is that you want to re-examine, to reevaluate, and to be honest with yourself about it and about yourself. And that takes courage. It does. We take a look at ourselves and we take a look at one of our beliefs. That takes courage. Because if you decide to let it go, as the autumn card was just talking about, it does change your life. And sometimes those people in your life are looking at you a little differently, right? So the energy of respect is important right now. You're being encouraged to figure out what's important to you and what you stand for. If you're in a space where there's opposition, you're being guided to follow through with integrity, because even if it seems this will slow your progress, your rewards will be much more abundant. You're being surrounded by a light of bravery to help you. Okay. So it really is about being grounded, and so that we can do that kind of work for ourselves and tapping into the Mercury retrograde. Yeah, and I have to say it is very exciting to me that we're able to look at something that a lot of people are very fearful of, and that is the Mercury retrograde. It's protect the computer. Protect the computer. Okay. So we're going to do the grounding technique, okay? And then we'll pull everything together in a nice red bow. All right. All right. So if you want to do this with me, if you're seated, okay, if you're in a chair, make sure your feet are flat on the floor and that your back is as straight as possible. And that might mean that you have to put some cushions behind you if you need that. This is not going to be very long, okay? So maybe just sitting more at near the edge of the seat so that your back is straight. Feet on the floor. Your hands and arms are uncrossed, and if you want, you can put your hands in your lap, okay? Whether palm down or palm up, doesn't matter. If you're lying down, that's okay. Just make sure that your arms and your legs are uncrossed. And if you can do this standing if you want. And just make sure that your weight is evenly distributed on your feet, okay? So sometimes you have to have your legs like shoulder width apart in order for that to happen. Okay. All right. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a big deep breath in, and hang on just a minute. Don't do it quite yet. Okay. And I just want to explain it. You're going to take a big deep breath in, and you're going to really fill up your lungs, not breathing shallow, but really filling up your lungs. So that means that your stomach, your abdomen, is actually coming out a bit. Okay. And when you get completely filled, you're going to hold it just for a second. And then on the exhale from your mouth, you're going to blow it out. Okay. So here we go. Big deep breath in. Hold it for a second, and then blow it out. Make sure all that breath is out, and you're just breathing easy and naturally now. Good. Good. We're going to do it one more time, okay? All right, here we go. Big deep breath in. Holding it for a second, and then blowing it out. When we do that, we can actually feel our muscles relax. It's bringing in more oxygen and bringing our focus to our physical body so that we're all completely present, okay? In fact, if you could do me a favor and is literally in your mind, quietly to yourself, call to yourself, say your name at least 4 times, all right? And your intention is to bring all aspects of yourself to this present moment, okay? All aspects of yourself in the present moment. Good. Calling yourself home. Okay. And just take a second and just notice what that feels like, okay? All right. Now, what I'd like you to do is, in your imagination, imagine being surrounded by a white light. a white light all the way around you. 360 degrees all the way around you. And just notice what it feels like to be bathed in that white light. It's the light of the Creator's protection. Good. And now quietly to yourself, calling to your spiritual team, the whole team, everybody, asking them to come close. Okay? All right. And you can even ask them, team members, spirit team members who can help me and assist me with grounding to Grandmother Earth, to please step forward. All right. So imagine a place in nature that you just really love. So beautiful there. Wherever it is, it's okay. Doesn't matter. It could be your backyard. It could be in a park. And just bring that image to you and feel the feelings about that place. How much you appreciate it. How much you love it. Okay, good. It's that connection to nature. Okay. In your imagination, imagine that your feet, the energy that flows beneath your feet from you goes down into Grandmother Earth, intentionally, consciously grounding yourself to Grandmother Earth like a tree, sending those roots down into her. Imagining it. Sending them so far down, connecting you to Grandmother Earth. In your imagination, imagine pouring your love to her down through your roots, going from your heart chakra down, down, down into the earth, telling her that you love her. You can even say that. Say it quietly to yourself, or you can say it out loud. Feeling all the love that you have for her flowing down into her, down through your roots. Grandmother, I love you. Grandmother Earth, I love you. Grandmother Earth, I love you. Grandmother Earth, I love you. And just take a moment and feel her love coming to you. Noticing it. Noticing it. And noticing the energy of each one of your chakras. Just start from the crown, notice it. Notice your third eye. Notice your throat chakra, your high heart, your heart chakra, your solar plexus, your sacral, your root, and just scanning it, and notice how they feel when you're grounded and feeling her love. Okay? Good. And now, asking your spiritual team, those on your spiritual team who assist you with protection to create a circle of protection around you. And so that when you stretch, when you reach, and you have to kind of really reach to find that edge, that's where they're standing. And they're locking arms, shoulder to shoulder, creating that protective energy around you, facing outward, so they can see the energy coming. You have your protective circle. And now asking a spiritual team member of the highest vibration who can assist you in being your bouncer to check the energy when it comes through, that it is for your highest good. And if it's not, is that it's escorted away. Okay? Okay, good. That's grounding. If you wanted to balance that too, you could bring down creator energy down through you and connect you to the earth, but we didn't do that part. This is just grounding to Grandmother Earth. Okay, and now you can thank everybody, your team, for being there with you and providing that protection and that bounce, that bouncer. Yeah, now you're good to go for 12 hours, at least. Yeah. Looking. They say that this retrograde has caused many changes in my life. Yeah, it tends to do that. And so the card draw today was all about tapping into the positive aspects of the Mercury retrograde. And these are the cards that came to help us do that, right? So you got to get them in order here. All right. So, whoops, that doesn't, I got to get them in order. Hang on. All right, here we go. This is the first one, Earth Guardian. And then we got Autumn. And then we had, and then we had the Night. Okay. And it was all about being grounded to the earth plane, to Grandmother Earth, being strong and stable, tapping into the positive aspects of Mercury retrograde to redo, reconnect, review, all those RE words, as Julie Hedges would say. And then having the courage and honesty to be able to maybe review just one of your beliefs that affects you. Because sometimes you can let them go, or different parts of them, you can let them go. Right? Yeah. So I'm sorry I went over a bit, but I wanted to, like 10 minutes. Thank you for being with me this afternoon. I'm hoping that that something resonated with you regarding the card draw. If it did, please pick it up and embrace it and see how the day unfolds for you. I encourage you to ground to Grandmother Earth during the Mercury retrograde from, well, today, the first day that we talked about this. It's actually been a couple days since the Mercury went retrograde until December 6th. And do it twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening, and see how that changes things for you, or enhances things for you, is a rather more positive way to say that. If it didn't resonate with you, that's okay. You can just let it alone. Maybe you can share the recorded video show with someone that has been looking for the information or would find it, the conversation, valuable. And with that, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Please join us for Star Nations Radio Network's live stream shows on Monday, and that is Julie Hedges, The Tarot Journey at 9 p.m. Eastern, and the Paul Krauss Show at 10 p.m. Eastern on Monday, November 19th. Yeah. Okay. All right. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We'll see you back here tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern, for the daily live stream around the card draw for the day. All right. All right. Bama Mina. That's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.